What's going on, guys? Play-by-play game here, back with another Epic 7 video, and today we're covering the developer notes for the upcoming May 13th balance adjustment update. So here we go. Maid Chloe finally getting the buffs that she deserves. We got quite a few heroes. We have 8 heroes that are going to be having some kind of adjustments. 2 of those are going to get full remakes, and then we are getting 3 artifact adjustments. So take a look at Maid Chloe. So before she had a 35% chance to stun, now it's a 40% chance to stun on her S1. And when the target is stunned after attacking, increases combat readiness of all allies except for the caster by 15%. So she's got a CR push when the target is stunned. That's pretty insane. Her Maid's Cheer, which I believe is her S2 passive, increases effect resistance of all allies by 20%, and at the start of the turn recovers health of the 2 allies with the lowest health, which is really nice because before it was the caster and the ally with the lowest health. Now it's 2 allies and herself. So right, recovers health of the 2 allies with the lowest health. Amount recovered increases proportional to the caster's max health. So of course you still need to make her somewhat tanky, and she gets increased healing. So maybe her healing output is going to be pretty insane now. And on her VIP treatment, everything is the same, except now she dispels 2 buffs from all allies and grants 2 debuffs, I'm sorry. So now she gives a cleanse, kind of like a partial cleanse. I mean, this won't work against like a dizzy or something like that, but it's still a cleanse, a full cleanse, and then a full revive. So 2 debuffs is pretty insane. I think with her kit and then being able to give that 15% CR push, I think it's gonna really kind of put her in some situations where she's going to be able to provide all of that support. So she's healing, she's pushing the CR of your entire team, she's cleansing. So I think her kit is in a much better spot now. So Fire Cecilia, I use her everywhere all the time. She's one of my favorite units. So let's take a look to see what they're doing with her. So Deliverance, attacks with a spear with a 50% chance to decrease defense. So this is her S1. Now it's actually when the target is inflicted with decreased attack, the effect increases by 25%, and then damage dealt increases proportional all to the caster's max health. So she is still damage scaling bruiser, right, HP, and this is really nice because now when you go with her S2, which has the chance of attack breaking, you get an increased chance to defense break on her S1, which is pretty insane. So because now it's what, a 75% chance, which is really nice when they have attack break on them. So it gives her even more utility, which is always great because that 50% for whatever reason never seemed to land. I also use her in Fire Expedition, so that's really nice. Her Steel Cloudburst attacks all enemies with a magical spear with a 50% chance to decrease attack for 2 turns before dispelling 1 buff. Okay, so the before dispelling 1 buff, that was actually in her EE. So in order to strip, you had to equip the E. So now they're actually putting that in her S2. That's pretty crazy. Effect increases. Okay, so that's the only thing that they're changing, really. That's pretty crazy. With the adjustment, Deliverance will have a far higher chance to decrease defense, yeah. And if players are able to inflict decrease attack debuff with Steel Cloudburst prior to attacking with Deliverance, they'll have a higher chance of being able to inflict decreased defense. Yeah, it's going to give her pretty insane utility. So additionally, an effect for one of Cecilia's exclusive equipment will be transferred to one of her skills. So that's what I just mentioned. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, now she's going to have an innate strip on her S2. That's awesome. Can't wait for that. So Flan, this one is pretty spicy, and it's going to kind of help a lot with some cleave comps. Not saying she's the end all be all to cleave or enabling cleave, but she's definitely going to help a lot. So they're actually removing the soul burn from, I believe this is her S1. They're adding 2 souls to her data monopoly. So this is her S3, I believe. No, this is her S2. Encourages an ally increasing attack and critical hit damage for two turns before increasing combat readiness by 40%. So this is actually now kind of like an Oxlots, right? Increases attack, but she also increases crit damage, because before she didn't do that. And this is for 2 turns. And she pushes by 40%. That's pretty insane. And you get 2 souls. And advantageous deal. Not sure what's going on today. Not sure what's going on. Okay. Drives a hard bargain against all enemies, decreasing defense for 2 turns before decreasing combat readiness by 15%. So she's decreasing defense, pushing everybody back, increasing attack, increasing crit damage, and pushing up 1 unit on your team. And you can soul burn this for an extra turn to go straight into the S2, because before you couldn't soul burn her S3. That's pretty insane. I think, and people were one-shotting Wyvern right now with her as is, so I can only imagine what they're going to be doing with her once these buffs come through. Mercedes, 4-star Covenant hero. She's getting damage increase. So it's really nice that she's getting some self buffs, right? So she's increasing her attack for 2 turns. She's getting, when she activates Dimensional Rapture, she increases damage, but it can only activate once. So she's getting a big damage increase, I would say. So it's going to be pretty cool to see what people do with her. Covenant 3-star Hazel is actually getting some needed buffs. So she's a fire soul weaver, and that, I know when she first came out, she was used like on all fire teams, golem, things like that. But now she increases combat readiness of herself by 15%, and the amount that she heals is doubled. Harvest runes are getting some buffs. I think that everything that she's doing is getting like a percent increase. So like, for example, she was actually able to dispel two debuffs from the target before, but no, she was only able to recover like a certain percentage of health. But now when you actually activate her runes, she has a 100% chance to dispel 2 debuffs, which is really nice. And she actually recovers the health of all allies by 10% if they're all fire heroes. So it's really nice. She's getting some health percentage increase. She's getting cleanse. I think this is definitely going to make her more viable for PvE for sure, and maybe even some GVG, right, depending on what they do. So that's going to be really, really nice. So moving on, Carrot. This one was another one that I thought was really going to be something good, because I used to use Carrot all the time when she first came out. She was one of my favorite units, one of my favorite skill change units, and she had her place for a little while, but her debuffs are kind of inconsistent. You need to kind of make her tanky. Her detonate was inconsistent because it was a percentage. It wasn't a sure thing. But now, before detonating, burn effects inflicted on the enemy at the end of the turn has a 50% chance to decrease speed. So that's really nice. They removed the soul burn on the swing. So that is going to be actually moved. I think that they completely did away with that. I think they did. So for researcher Carrot, they actually added that the barrier effect can only be activated once per turn, and the barrier strength increases proportional to all casters' attacks. So I think that was the same. And this, I'm not sure what they changed here. I think they removed the cooldown. So it was a 1-turn cooldown before for her flame barrier. Now it can only be activated once per turn. So every time that she gets a turn, so there's no cooldown on it, essentially. I'm not sure if that's the same thing. It sounds like the same thing to me. Now with her flame spurt, attacks all enemies with powerful fire. So this was her S3. She strips 1 buff before a 75% chance to burn inflict 2 burns for 1 turn. And her damage increases with the soul burn and grants an extra turn. So I think that this damage increase is just innate, but then with the soul burn, it just gives her another turn. So that's pretty crazy, because I think I saw somewhere that, yeah, so her S1 now detonates burn effects, because there was a 30% chance to detonate. Now it's 100% chance. So you can definitely soul burn S3, strip burn and then detonate all the burn. So imagine bringing her into like a Meru or something like that, or with a Meru, and then getting burns on burns on burns, maybe even with fire or Mintha. It's going to be interesting, just detonating everything and going crazy. That was one of the best parts of playing with her. She was a lot of fun. Her flame runes are getting an increased attack percentage, so that's really nice. And then after being attacked, if the caster is debuffed, she has a 100% chance to dispel one debuff from the caster. So now she has a self cleanse that is 100%. And if her health is 80% or more, she decreases damage received by 20%. So that's pretty crazy, because before she had to be at max health. So now even if she takes a couple of hits, she'll still be able to get a damage reduction. And that, I think, is going to make her very viable in a lot of team comps. I'm definitely excited to try her out again. I used to play with her quite a bit. GVG, she was a lot of fun. So definitely excited now. Church of Ilros Axe. So this is Axe God, right? Chaos Sect Axe. He's getting a 75% chance on his S1 to provoke for 1 turn. And he is now a health scaling bruiser. So they switched him, they're changing him up. 75% chance to provoke is kind of insane, because before he was built pretty tanky. He's getting immunity for 1 turn on his, I think his S2. That's pretty crazy. And the skill cooldown is decreased by 2 turns on a soul burn. So this, I think before it was a 3-turn cooldown, and so now it's going to be like a 1-turn cooldown. That's kind of crazy. He's getting on his S2. I think this is still his S2. He gets increased damage proportional to the caster's max health. So again, health scaling bruiser. And his vigorous strike smacks the enemy with a 100% chance to decrease defense before recovering 20% of the caster's max health. When the enemy is defeated, grants an extra turn to the caster. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'm kind of glad that they are actually making him more of a light bait. When attacking a light elemental target with vigorous strike, penetrates defense by 40%. When attacking a light elemental target, increases provoke chance. So they're really making him kind of like a light bait, being able to tank light hits, bringing him into the golden boys. That's kind of what I'm looking at there. We're getting some artifact balance adjustment. So Bloody Rose, after attacking with a single attack, has a 50% chance to inflict a vampiric touch on the target for 2 turns. So that's actually kind of interesting, because Vampiric Touch actually heals you up, right? So I'm interested to see if anyone's going to try that. Maybe like for PvE, that could be kind of nice. Border Coin, it's actually increasing speed by 10% now, which is going to be kind of insane, I think. I mean, 10% doesn't seem like a lot, but it definitely can make a difference if it's stacking, right? Because it's stacking up to 3 times. So that's a 30% speed increase. That's kind of insane. Ambrote 4-star artifact, increasing speed by 2% after the basic skill. More speed increases. I don't know what Ambrote is, but I'm definitely going to go in and try to figure out what that artifact is. But yeah, I mean, a lot of juicy buffs here. I can't wait to try the 2 standouts for me is going to be Maid Chloe and the Carrot. So that's definitely going to be 2 heroes that I'm going to be looking into, and I can't wait to take a look at Fire Cece. And I mean, I'm just happy she's getting buffs. She didn't need any buffs, but I'm really glad that they're adding something to her. All right, so that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts on the upcoming buffs to these units, and what do you think? Are you going to be re-gearing your Maid Chloe? Are you potentially considering of going back to Cleve, using Flan with her, better than Oxlots, better than Water Tywin, and is she going to be one of the premier Cleve setup units? Let me know in the comments below. Like always, if you happen to enjoy the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hey, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.